Hey guys, yeah, happy 2016. I'm back with a video. Sorry I've been just putting off. I just haven't been in the mood really to make one. I've been busy with work and had some personal issues and other things like that. I started to come down with something a little bit recently, but it wasn't real bad. I'm still somewhat recovering from it, but it's not bad. So yeah, guys, and look, I actually got the new turntable here. As some of you probably are gonna guess, I got an Audio Technica. But in my next video that you'll see, I'll go a little more detail. Yeah, guys, I also got some finds I'm gonna show you in my next video. I got some, and then I ordered some online, so I don't know when this video will be. It'll probably be next week or so. I'll show you the finds and talk a little bit about my turntable. This video, I've been deciding what video to do for 2016. I know last year I literally did a video probably the hour of 2015 right at the start. But yeah, this video I decided to talk a little bit about The Who. Honestly, I have like a love and hate affair with them. Not really hate, but I wouldn't really consider myself a big fan, but then in other ways I do, but it's just kind of like a balance with them. I kind of need to be in the mood. I kind of see The Who as almost like the Beatles in some ways, but unlike with The Who, I actually have enjoyed everything the Beatles did, and still kind of, I just overplayed a lot of their stuff, so it's kind of hard to get into it again for the Beatles, but The Who, I think they're similar because they've done so many different styles as a band. One of the things that makes them interesting, in my opinion, in the 60s they started out as a garage band. Then they basically went into like a pop era in 66. But then in like 67 they started to go a little bit psychedelic, but not totally into it. They were kind of like all over the place. Then 68 was just kind of like, I feel they were confused as a band. They were doing a lot of like obscurity stuff and just basic things. Like they have a song called Dogs. If you look it up, it's something you probably wouldn't think The Who would do. It's probably one of their more forgettable songs in their catalog. In terms of people can remember it, I don't think it's a bad song, but it's from the 68 era. And then they have a song like Call Me Lightning, which sounds like basic mid-60s rock. It doesn't really sound too crazy for 68 as I kind of would expect it for a popular band at the time. But the one thing that I do kind of question about The Who is why didn't they just go straight into their hard rock? Because even though I think it's interesting that they did all those styles in between from 66 to 68, but I probably would like them more if they just went their hard rock, because in like 1969 and right into 70, they started to go to straight hard rock. But if you see groups like Cream and the Jimi Hendrix Experience and a bunch of other bands in 67 and 68, they were just really hard rock. I kind of question why didn't The Who just do that, because they had the right equipment the majority of the time, and Pete Townsend was part of the creation of the Marshall amp, which was like a really hard sounding and loud amp that Jimi Hendrix and Cream even used. But Pete Townsend didn't really have the really hard rock sound, in my opinion, in the 67, 68 era. That's just my opinion. They were still pretty good. It's just not like the greatest thing ever. I just really love where they went in 1970 with their sound on Live at Leeds. But even though I say I have a love-hate affair, I don't think it's all the eras are completely perfect. There's some stuff I can't stand that much about each era a little bit, but overall I just have to really be in the mood to be into all their stuff. But I probably love the most about them is like their hits and some other songs. I don't love every hit, but then there's just a few songs that I personally love a lot. But probably my favorite song by them is Won't Get Fooled Again, which is probably everyone's favorite. And it's from 1971. But I honestly prefer their version from 1978. which was, I don't know where it was at, but it's on the Kids Are Alright soundtrack. It's Keith Moon's last performance, unfortunately, but I just think it's a really awesome performance, and the footage is really awesome too. Really well done. So that recording alone is probably my favorite Who song, and why I think it's hard to not like the Who. But I mostly have to be in the mood, but I just really like collecting their stuff though. Like I have a lot of Who stuff, even though as I said I'm not like the biggest Who fan. I still like to collect their stuff, and the funny thing though, I like collecting their 60s stuff the most. Even though, like I said, for the millionth time I have to be in the mood, really. But I have like all their studio albums, every one from the first to the second one they did in the 80s. I don't have like the newest one from a few years ago. I just don't really have interest in it. But I have basically all the other ones, and I have a bunch of copies of stuff and some other weird stuff. So I'll just show you some that I have. But I'll just show you these because I was kind of listening to some of these. I was in the mood, and I like right now I'm in the mood to hear these a little bit. So I was, and I was enjoying them. I got these two, I think they're German albums of the Who. It's called Best of, and this one's just the Who. This one I think originally came out in '66, but my copy's from '68. This album I think came out in like '68 because on the back here you can see it mentions the other album I showed, and then it says the Who Sellout. But yeah, you can see this album here has some like weird songs on it. Like it has like Bucketty, which I still think it's a fun song, but I honestly think like production wise and that it's probably one of the Who's worst songs, but I don't think it's a bad song to listen to. It has I'm a Boy, which is pretty cool song. I honestly prefer some of their live versions from like the 70s that they did from time to time, like on Live at Leeds. I kind of prefer those more than the original one. But yeah, like I said, this album came out in '68, but it's a best of, so it actually has songs from '66 to '68. Like it has a song I mentioned, Dogs, which is the last song, and it has Call Me Lightning. Both of those are from '68. It also has like Rolling Stones cover called Last Time, The Last Time, and it has like I Could See for Miles. But this one is, I think it could have been a '66 studio album for the Who in Germany, because it has a lot of the songs from the Who's second album, called A Quick One in the UK, and then Happy Jack in the US. It has like Run Run Run. But it also has Heat Wave, which is the UK song. I actually really like that cover. I really like John Entwistle's bass on there, even though it's not like as listenable throughout the entire song, but there's parts that I really love that. It has like Boris the Spider, I Need You, Don't Look Away, other stuff like that, Whiskey Man. But then it has some other like rarer songs that you wouldn't hear as much by the Who, like In the City, which is a great single song. I think it was the single I'm a Boy, but it's not really talked about as much. I think it's pretty cool. And it has like Disguises, and it has I'm a Boy, and it has other stuff. So this is a pretty cool album to have. I'm glad to own it. I just listen to it when I'm in the mood. It's really cool. And one thing, if I showed you, I think I showed it in my last update, Vinyl Finds. Got this Who bootleg online. It's called the Who Sellout Takes, which actually the cover on here just says the Who Sellout, which I believe in Japan when it first came out, this was the original artwork to the Who Sellout album. But for this bootleg, they just used that cover. And then the back has a bunch of like 67, 68 songs. So I think that's really cool to have, honestly. It's like a lost Who album, because originally the Who Sellout came out in '67 in the UK, and then Tommy came out in '69. So like kind of the '68 era didn't really have much released. But it has a bunch of stuff from that era on here. It's really cool, like Glow Girl, Girl's Eyes, Jaguar. It has a song called Little Billy, which they've done in '68. They've done a few live performances of it. It's a pretty cool song. And they also have the song called Fortune Teller, which they done in '68. There's a version on the Live at Leeds Deluxe album, which I really love that song. It actually sounds pretty similar to this version on here, but like I said, the Who weren't totally hard rock in the '66 to '68 era yet. But the version on here, it just sounds like less heavy. It almost sounds like the same song, but less heavy compared to the Live at Leeds version. But it has some pretty cool stuff on here. I just love collecting the Who. And as I said, like I got their studio albums. Like right here, I got, these are just 2 copies of the Who Sellout there on Decca. I have a bunch other Who Sellouts that are not this. I also have a Happy Jack, which is a pretty cool album. Like this album and a quick one, which actually I have right here. Yeah, this is the newer reissue or so. Both of the albums are pretty similar, the UK and US one. But I honestly think they're like a pretty perfect album, like feel-wise of the whole album, the atmosphere of it. But like it's not my favorite thing, and I wouldn't call it a masterpiece. But like atmosphere-wise and everything put together, I think it's a great, great album. So I recommend that, honestly. Some people say it's their favorite. Some people say they didn't like it. So, and I might as well show here. I got the first albums here from UK and US. This one is the newer reissue of the UK album, which I honestly prefer more than this. Even though they're not much difference, but I just like the album cover to this a lot more. This looks more dated. This one looks like a classic album, even though the album is still pretty good when I'm in the mood. So, some other things I could show you, like I said about the Who Sellout. I have a promo of that album. You can see right here, this promo. I'm really glad to have this. Pretty beat up, but it doesn't sound bad. It's on white. Label promo, Decca. You'd see that. I showed that recently too. So yeah, I honestly, this album is not really my favorite, but I just really like it. Like, I don't know why. Just because of the era of music. I just really like having it. The whole feel of the album. Even though, like I said, for the Who, I honestly prefer their hard rock early to, well, basically the 70s. Even though I haven't heard everything yet, I still like the 60s stuff. For like the nostalgia and everything. And when I'm really in the mood, I could really listen to it. So yeah, and also here for late Who, I got this cool thing over here. Yeah, I got this other thing. It says Netherlands. It's called The Best of the Who. And I think it's a really cool album. Like, it has some Live at Leeds stuff on here, like My Generation and Summertime Blues. Those recordings from there. I think it even has Magic Bus, the version from Live at Leeds. But it's kind of weird, the copyright information. It says right here, it says that these 3 songs and Magic Bus are from 1970, so Live at Leeds. But actually, the second song I could see for Miles is just a studio from the Who Sellout, so that's kind of weird. I don't even think they've done I Could See for Miles live during Keith Moon's existence, so it's kind of weird. But then there's some little Tommy stuff, but I'm honestly like not that big on Tommy. I listened to it, but I just didn't really care for it, even though like I saw the talent and I can understand. Like, I don't think it's crap. I just personally don't like it that much. But I still think it's like the Who's era where they like really changed as a band. Started to get more classic. I got some other stuff, basically other albums, so, and other oddity things here and there. But yeah, guys, this is all I wanted to do for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you forgot, I got a guitar for Christmas, which I wonder if some people get annoyed on my Instagram because I sometimes post me playing guitar. And I know my brother gets annoyed because I play it loud sometimes. I also broke a string. You can see that. The smallest one. So I gotta get that fixed. I can do some finger picking a little bit. It's kind of fun to do. It's kind of funny. I used to do with these, but in this video, I don't know why, I'm just using my 3 fingers here. But I usually just go like this. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you later in my next update. I'll show you finds, and I will also talk a little bit about my new turntable. So anyway, hope you guys enjoy this video, and I will talk to you later. So